Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to show you guys how I achieved this wig on my beautiful cute friend Ajwa. She's been here on this channel like several times, and you guys remember this hair from BestHairDeals, right? So this is the hair that I'm going to use for this wig, and this is the closure, the 4x4 3-part closure. Now you'll get to the closure very soon. So I have a video on how I bleach and customize my closures. I'm going to link it up there so that you guys go watch it if you haven't already, so that this video doesn't become lengthy. And then if you want to know that your closure is bleaching, you can just get closer to your closure and you can see that it is turning orange. I mean, the knot is turning from black to orange, and this is the issue I had with this closure. I don't know what happened, but for some reason it created a very specific demarcation, like demarcation specific ones, like you can see straight lines, and I don't know what happened, but it kind of interfered with how the closure looked on my client. So yeah, now let's get into the wig making process. Now I have a video on affordable wig making starter kits for beginners. If you want to make a wig and you are a beginner, I'm sure this video is going to help you gather a few items to start making your own wigs. Now if you want to place your closure on your wig cap, you definitely have to leave some space in front of the wig cap. Let's say have an inch, so that you just have to leave a gap, so that when you cut it you don't see your tracks. Like when you cut the lace, you don't see your tracks showing by this, like showing at the side. So it has to come in front so that it can fall on your tracks, like the sides of your head, the tracks there. Yeah, and then you want to measure it very well. Like you have to place it very carefully and then stretch it as much as you can, and then you have to use your T-pins to secure where you have stretched your closure, because if you don't secure your closure with T-pins or any type of pin that you have, your closure will end up moving on the wig cap, and then by the time you finish, your closure would have shifted. So if you are putting your closure on your wig cap, you have to get your T-pins or any type of pins like the one I'm using. I showed in the video that I'm talking about, so you have to go and watch it if you are really into making wigs. So I was really late and I wanted to finish this wig, so I didn't wait for the closure to dry, so I had to use some artificial heat, that is the blow dry, to get the drying process going. So this is how it looks, the closure looks like. It's not even the wig, but this is how the closure looks like after the drying process, after using the blow dryer to it looks really nice, as you can see. Now you want to use your clips to secure your closure, the hair on your closure, so that it doesn't interfere with the sewing process, because if you don't do it well, it might just interfere in a way. Okay, so we're going to sew the closure onto the wig cap. Now look at this very carefully. I might not be able to explain it as thoroughly as I would want to, but maybe just looking at the video you can get what I'm doing in the video. Okay, so what I'm doing, God, I can't even talk properly. Okay, I'm not going to talk like very fast. Now what I'm doing is that I am sewing the wig from the middle to the sides, because if I do that, if you sew your wig from the middle to the side, then you have a lot of control on the closure, as in the movements of the closure won't be like your closure, the probability of your closure moving, like shifting will be very low, because you've secured it and you're sewing it from the center. So imagine if you had sewn it, so you've done it from the very beginning, like where the temple is to the middle to the other temple, it might shift. The probability of it shifting is like like way up. So what I've done recently, what I've noticed recently, is that when I start from the middle, it's very easy, and then you sew You can sew upwards or downwards. I mean, depending on my mood, you guys will see how I interchange it. But you sew and then you try to tie. So you sew it and then you put the needle in between the loop. You get it? So when you sew, let me explain this in basic, understand. Like when you put the pin through the closure, through the wig cap, it will create some sort of loop, like cycle, and then you put the pin inside the cycle, the loop, so that it fastens around the perimeter of the closure. I don't know if I'm making sense, but the video should definitely explain the video more than I am explaining. So when you get to the end of the closure, now I don't cut the thread there. I just go in like a few centimeters, no, a few millimeters, and then I cut it just so that I don't cut it at the very end of the wig cap. So I just go in a bit like what you're seeing, and then I cut first so that I can get excess thread to tie. So after threading it, I just cut it. I hope this is helpful in a way. You guys can see how tight the closure is on the wig cap. It's not going anywhere. You can wash it. You can wash this wig several times and it will still be intact. So if you sew your wig like that, it will be very, very durable, and it won't go apart easily. So I'm repeating the same process on the other side of the wig. So I'm just going in a fast forward motion because I don't want to waste a lot of time. Already the video looks like it's going to be so long. So when I get to the end, I'll just repeat the same process of me just going back a few millimeters, and then I cut the thread. So that is all about sewing your closure onto the wig cap. So if you follow this simple step, your closure is going to be firmly stitched on your wig cap. So I hope this part of the video was self-explanatory. Even if I didn't explain it as much as I should have or I could, the video will just help you understand it more. Now I'm going to sew the tracks on the wig cap. Now I've already inserted the pin. Now please don't do this mistake that I did. Do not make your threaded needle, like your thread, too long. Make it as short as possible, because if you make it too long, it's going to distract you and it will kind of lengthen your sewing process, because you see as we go. So what I'm doing is that I'm trying to comb out and double the width so that the back becomes a little bit fuller. So it's going to be the same process as I did. I insert it and then I create a loop, and then put the needle inside of the loop, and then I hope I'm explaining this thing right. Put the needle inside the loop and then tie it. So insert, like, so you want to sew through the first one. You have to sew through, like put the needle inside the weft. Put the needle inside the weft. When you're beginning your wigging, what you want to do is that you want to put the needle inside the weft, like fa bundle inside the weft, and then after the very first second stitch, like second stitches, you then do that through the weft. Okay, through the weft, so like under the weft where the hard thing is, under it. Okay, so the very first, because you want to secure the hair bundle on the closure, that is when you put your pin through, like what the far will be at the no ready. This is very difficult to explain, but you put it through because you are trying to secure the bundles on the wig cap. you put your pin through the hair thing there so that it secures it on the wig. And then after doing that for like twice or 3 times, you then use your pin under that hard thing, that hard line where they've done the wefts. Okay, so you put it under. So the first one is put through to secure it, and after that you just put it under. So when you are trying to add a new bundle, that is what you do to secure the bundle on the cap. So you do the same process, and then when you get to the end, I don't cut my wefts. I think it depends what I feel. If the wig is for me, if the hair is for me, I'll definitely cut. But if it's for somebody, probably the person would want to use the wig for something else. And then the moment you start cutting, I mean, you just spoil. What's saying, you know, like that's just it. What's saying, you see what I was talking about? Don't make your thread too long, because if you make it too long, this is what is going to happen. It's going to tangle during the process, and then you'd have to cut it, and you know, time wasting and all that. So yes, this is the other side of the wig. I'm just showing you the bend over method. Is it bend over method? Yes, I don't cut it, so I bend the weft over, and then I make sure I make it as flat as possible. So yes, bend over method. I showed it at the other side, and I'm showing it at this side too. So yeah, continue sewing, and so this is the other parts of the bend over. Is it bend over? Turn over. Jesus Christ. So why can't I remember? Okay, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Okay, and then when you're sewing and you're a beginner, you can also try to use the T-pins to help you, you know, secure the tracks on the wig cap so that you can easily sew. But personally, sorry. But personally, if I do that thing just wastes my time. I don't know if it's because I'm not used to that, but putting the T-pins to secure the wig and then moving, oh no, that thing kind of slows me down. So I don't do that. But if you're a beginner, you can just use the T-pins to kind of guide you so that you know where you're sewing. Okay, so that is the bending over method. The bend over method. A flip over. Hey, Jesus. Bend over, turn over, flip over. Oh my god, please, if you know the correct term, please leave it in the comment section, and I'll be very, very grateful, because I don't know why I can't remember. When I'm editing, I'll just put it on the screen, but if you know, please leave it in the comment section. So I just want you guys to have an idea, the fair idea of, you know, the bending over process. That's why I keep cutting to the bend over, the flip over. That's why I keep cutting to the flip over section, so that you guys can have an idea that if you don't want to cut your wave, that is okay. You can just turn, bend, flip it over, and then you sew your tracks. But one disadvantage of this method, okay, the advantage is that you don't spoil your tracks, like your hair. You have it intact, like very long, so that whatever thing you want to do in future with the hair, you can, you know, do it. And because the moment you start cutting the hair into pieces, no, like you started spoiling the hair, that. So what you want to do is that if you don't want to cut it, then one disadvantage of that is that your hair can get a little, like the wig itself can get a little bit bulky. That is, if you don't like sew it down properly. That is the only disadvantage that I have with the turn over, bend over, flip over method. Okay, if you don't like sew it down properly, it's going to create that bulky effect. But if you tend to cut your weft a lot, like your hair, the tracks a lot, you would end up getting a lot of sheds. That's from my experience, getting up a lot of sheds, but your wig is going to lay really, really flat. So you can pick and choose which one you're more comfortable, convenient you know, in the long run. So yeah, so now what I'm showing you is the last but one track. Yeah, you'd want to sew everything to the very last place, like the last corner on top of the closure, so that you don't see even the wig cap. So you have to sew it to go and hit the closure. Yeah, so I'm showing you guys. Yes, I'm showing you guys the very last part that I'm going to show. That I'm going to sew or show. So I'll show you guys the very last part that I'm going to sew. See, oh god. So I don't know. Last time I remember I was trying to pronounce this word longevity, and I was struggling. I was saying longevity, and my friend was like really laughing. So I told her to send me a voice note of the term, and then she did. So shout out to Betha, if you're watching this, you girl, you taught me how to say longevity, and yeah, shout out to you for teaching me how to say longevity, you know. You see, because the hair is of the same length, you see the last is when you want to do a blunt cut, the best thing is to actually get hair of different lengths, like a shorter one and a longer one. But if you don't have any, you have hair of the same length, what you end up doing is that you end up cutting a lot of hair, because you want the bottom part, like the lower part of the wig, to be very thick. Okay, and if the lower part of the wig is light, you'd end up cutting till you get to the very thick side. So one thing that I would advise is that if you're doing a blunt cut wig, always go for, let's say, 10 inches, 12 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, so that you don't cut a lot of hair away. I hope this tip helps. So what I'm doing is that I'm just cutting and measuring. Yeah, so this is the very last track that I'm sewing, and you guys can't even tell, you guys can't even see where the closure ends. Because I have sewn it very closely to the closure, so that when the wind blows or anything, you can't see the wig cap itself. Okay, you don't see the lace beneath the bundles. So yeah, and I filmed very late as well. It was after 12, because the reason why I do my wigs kind of late, it depends on the number of order that I have. If I have an emergency order, or if I have to do everything, you know, before the following morning, because I have, you know, other things like, you know, graphic design, video editing, photo editing, or something like that. I have to finish this thing at dawn and then rest and then continue doing the other stuff. Yes, that is the cutie waiting for her wig. Now what I'm doing is that I'm just cutting, because it's a blunt cut, like a bob type of look. This is like the easiest way for me. I don't know if there are other methods, but it's like the easiest way for me. I just cut the length. I just cut it and cutting and measuring. You know, I've done this thing for a while, so I know where I'm cutting, and you know. But if you want a detailed video on how to actually cut very well, I will be glad to just leave it in the comment section below, and then I'll be glad to explain and do a thorough video. Now after that, I bumped the hair a little bit, you know, I bumped the hair at the bottom part a little bit, and this is the final look. Now she is a very simple person, so she didn't want anything complicated, and I tried to convince her to do baby hair at where the closure, like at the closure area, and yeah, we did something simple. So you guys, I don't know if you guys can see where that orangey thing that was on the closure, I don't know if you guys can see that it has created this sort of opened area on top of her head. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, that was the only thing that was distracting. Yeah, and she was feeling the hair. She decided to comb it herself. Yeah, so I use some hair wax. Is it hair wax or hair gel? Either one of them. The L'Oreal hair gel to lay the baby hair in. Nothing too dramatic because she wanted something very simple, because she just wanted to see how she was going to style the hair. She actually took it off like after 5 minutes, but she wanted to see how she styled the hair. And then I was telling her about that orange thing at the top, and she was like, cool, no problem. So yeah, she was okay with the hair. And this is basically it, guys. This is the final look. If you want Headmistress to make a wig for you, I'm going to leave my email on top, like the on top on the screen and in the description box. If you're in Ghana, you can hit me via WhatsApp or via Instagram DM. She was so excited. And yes, if you want me to make a wig for you, if you already have your hair, you can bring it. And if you want me to provide the hair for you, please give me the specs of the hair, the length, the closure, everything, and I'll give you a quote. And then if it's within your budget, we can talk about it, and we make a wig. So that is all about it. I'll see you very soon, very soon, or very soon in my next video. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like and comment. Just say anything in the comment section below. And yes, bye.